Okay guys, so the tires are on, the lift is on, the gear reduction is in, and the spacers are on too. Now I'm just really telling y'all what I got. And when I went to go put this in, and same with Landon, there are not any, I don't think there's any gear reduction videos on a Foreman. We did it by looking at one from a 300 because they were pretty much kind of the same, except the engine is sideways in a 300. But I'm just gonna explain to y'all what not to do wrong, or what we did wrong, because when we put it back together it wouldn't move, and we thought the timing was off on it, but it was not. So basically what you're gonna need to do is we put it on a car lift because that was easier for us. You can jack it up. It's easier if you jack up the front of it, no, the back of it, and have it at an angle. But what you want to do is take your front plastics off, your front top bumper. You can leave this one on. This one's just held on by these winch cables right now, but and those bolts down there. But you want to take your tires off, and then you want to drain your oil. You want to take these two lines out right here, which is an Allen key. I think it was a 3/8 or something like that. It's best to get a new oil filter too. And then there's 10mm bolts all around here. I think we missed one when we put it back in. That looks what it looks like. Oh no, that was that little pointless one that was nothing. But basically you just want to take like your 10mm bolts out and pop your cover off. It didn't take us long to do this. But basically when you do that, you have a little disc right here that's like actually about right here, and you just want to kind of tap on it and it'll slide off. And then you want to take your secondary and primary gears off. Now the reason it wouldn't run, when we thought the timing was off, it was because there was a little washer that was in the engine cover. It looks like this right here. We just put it on here because we just ended up taking it out. We put it in there and it was apparently in the wrong spot, and it was catching on something and it wouldn't roll. So after we took it apart, did all that, ended up working. But it is not very hard to do this on a Foreman. On most videos also, they say you have to take the drive shaft out to put the gear reduction in. You do not have to take the drive shaft out. Don't worry about it. The way the cap is, it's curved. You can take it out easily without it doing that. You don't have to order an engine seal. We just use some little seal stuff like silicone or whatever you got that's in your shop. It'll work as long as it's waterproof and it's not too thick. It'll work. That's all we did to it. The gear reduction worked fine though. It turns it really well. The lift, now this was a pain. We ended up making our own brackets out of some stuff we had. You can see where we welded it right there and welded it right there. So we used the same plates and stuff they had for the rear or for the front. This was really what took us a long time because we couldn't get the shock to fit right in there. So my dad's friend and buddy that we took it to, he helped us out and he grounded all that down and welded it together and stuff. That I would really recommend doing that. That took a lot of time. You just order the right lift kit. I think we ordered the wrong one, but we have it for the back. The back was real easy. We didn't have to do anything to it. It went right in there. And I wouldn't even really recommend getting a lift because of how much stress it puts on it. But it works really well. I got same ground clearance for the axles. It's sitting up a little bit higher. It looks better now. I have not put the plastics back on it yet because we're gonna look at the winch because the winch isn't working. So we're gonna probably rerun these cables and look at it. But that's pretty much all we did. I haven't tested it out in the mud yet, but my dad didn't want to put the gear reduction in the first place because he said it'll run those tires easy, because he backed it out of the shop. No, do not try that. well, it's not that it couldn't, it probably could, but it's better to be safe than sorry. I would get a gear reduction, because you know, if you're going, you have these 29.5s on there, you don't have a gear reduction, you get stuck in some thick mud, and you're just wide open in first gear. You're easily gonna blow a first gear, and then that's just more and more problems you have to deal with. So I would just get the gear reduction. The 14.5 turns it really great. It is not at an expensive price. It just gives it that little oomph that makes it go, and it won't tear your whole motor up. That's probably about it. I did order the wrong air filters for a Rancher 350 and not a Foreman 450, but I could have sworn it said 450 on there, but we got it to work. It's not fully on there. We just kind of cut it and bent it and stretched it, and it's on there the best we could. It's real loose, but it'll work. It's giving it good airflow. I'll fix that in a second. But that's all you have to do for it. So I'm gonna title this video "Gear Reduction Install" so people will look at it. I'm sorry if it does not help you, because it's verbal. I was not taking this apart again just because it runs and I didn't feel like doing it. If you don't have many experience with gear reductions and you think it's gonna be too hard, it's not hard. We did that in probably about 5 minutes. We got it, took off, put in, and put back together. Now I say that we did put it back together wrong, but we ended up getting it right. So I would just say that. And I don't know, my dad wants me to keep the front plastics off. I mean, I probably should do that since they're all beat to crap anyways, because we're gonna try and get some new plastics and bumpers and stuff for it. But we don't have any of that right now, and I don't really feel like getting too muddy. I mean, it is warming up, so it is that, but I think it just looks retarded with these little things sticking out. But yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm gonna wash it again, and we're gonna look at the winch. And I'm pretty sure we're still getting it snorkeled. I haven't talked to him about it again. Caden, the dude that owns the Can-Am 450, he is getting 27.5-inch Mega Mayhems today, or 27s, maybe not 27.5s. I don't know what they make for them, but I think he said he was going to pick those up today. Haven't heard from Landon again about his 2 new 4-wheelers. Well, new, but I think the vent lines are going to be okay. I don't think I have to run them, because if I'm correct, the front differential vent line comes up and goes into the frame right here, but I'm not completely sure. I have to watch some more videos on it and look some more stuff up, but I think that's where it goes. And if push comes to shove, I can just put an extension on there, extend it up to the snorkel. I don't know where the back one goes. When I take the rest of the plastics off, I will look for it. But yeah, and we were thinking about getting the back rack fixed. We were trying to look for a whole nother bike that just needed an engine, because we found one that had a 6-inch lift and all that, and it just needed an engine. And we were just going to put this engine in there and get a gear reduction for it. I think it had a gear reduction in it, so we were going to swap the gear reductions. But yeah, we ended up not getting that. So now he's just looking for one that's clean and has fresh plastics and bumpers on it that's been like stored in somebody's garage and they can't keep it no more. That's what we're looking for. Don't care if it runs or doesn't, just need a parts bike to fix it. I am gonna push these in some more because it's making weird noises, and I feel like when I get in mud it's gonna rub on that, and I don't really want to listen to that sound. But these are 1-inch spacers, not 1.5. They fit on there real nice. It got it away from the exhaust about an inch and a half, and yeah, it works fine, and they don't look bad. I don't think they stick out much more than the front tires now. I have to look at it. No, it looks perfectly fine. It looks square because the front tire stuck out more because of the disc brakes on them. So yeah, that works fine. It does not look bad. Once I get the plastics on, and we ordered some new little plastic things, so it's not zip tied together no more. These things, I forgot what those are called, but yeah. that's about it. I did wrap my relay up in electrical tape to where it's waterproof. And we did notice that it was leaking oil. So we're gonna get up under there and check that out soon before I start sending it through water again. But me and my grandpa, he's real good with electrics and electricity and engineering and all that stuff that I suck at. So me and him are gonna look at the winch tomorrow and do that. But I'm sorry if I'm talking about all this other stuff in this video. But yeah, this is basically it. The gear reduction is not hard. If you need to look at another video for it besides mine, because since mine is not pulled off and looking at it, it's just verbal. Look at one for 300. No, it was done by Solitude Customs. That was a real great video. He showed you exactly what you needed to do to take everything off. It was on a 300, but we used that and it worked just fine on this Foreman. Again, I say that when we put it back together wrong. But that's about it. Like, stay tuned, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Hopefully it will not be all this chitter chatter stuff, and it will be a riding video. And I'll not be here sitting here talking for about 15 minutes. But I will do a startup again for you guys, like I do in every video. Yeah, it's running pretty great. Turns the tires fine, but I know I just said all the engine stuff, but whatever. See you guys in the next video.